This was my third trip to the island of Jamaica to see my in laws. On this trip, we had to observe my grandfather in law suffering from cancer. He laid in the bed and his skin was sagging. He was suffering from malnutrition from the cancer. He was not eating, he was not drinking much, and he just laid there in pain. On this trip with us, we had a friend who was a doctor, a medical doctor. And he looked at us and said, "You have the medicine here in Jamaica, and it's so affordable." We were looking at him saying, "What medicine was that?" We did not know where he was coming from. Little did we know that he was referring to marijuana. He had experiences with this drug or plant, and he knew the effects it could have on people with terminal illnesses, such as increasing their appetite and decreasing their pain. We all know marijuana is a plant. It contains THC, or the clinical term tetrahydrocannabinol. Studies by the University of California with mice came up with the idea that if you place a tumor into a mice, a human tumor, and you use THC on that tumor, the tumor began to shrink over a period of time. The mice also didn't have any pain from administering the THC. Later on, we came up with the idea we should try to administer some marijuana to my grandfather-in-law, but due to the religious beliefs, he did not want any of this substance because he considered it a drug. The Merck Index, an index used by the American Pharmaceutical Association to measure the amount of drugs needed to kill individuals, experimented and came up with the idea that to have an overdose of marijuana, you would need to smoke or ingest 1,500 pounds of marijuana in 14 minutes. This is almost impossible to the average human. Her grandfather didn't know this. They always believed that marijuana was a drug. Currently in the United States, 13 states have legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes. One of the medicines that contains THC, or the chemical in marijuana, is the medicine known as Marinol. Marinol is the only drug approved by the FDA to use by cancer patients to limit pain and to increase appetite. In the early 1930s, marijuana became illegal. The reason why marijuana became illegal, because it was somewhat a racial gesture. Yes, believe it or not, marijuana legality began with racism because society believed in the 1930s that minorities who ingest marijuana became violent. Violent in the sense that they stood up to the oppression they were faced with. This is one of the reasons marijuana became illegal. Is that right? Of course it's not right. CBS also had an article that states that in the early 1930s, Negroes' inability to get alcohol encouraged them to use marijuana. Then way earlier back in 1914, New York City banned pot due to the fear that it would lead to uses of stronger narcotics. So all of these factors played in causing marijuana to be illegal. Most of society thinks marijuana is illegal because it can cause great harm on the body. Studies have proven that the proper uses of marijuana, cancer patients can survive and even increase their appetite. These troubling pot pot bans never based on scientific research but social observations. Imagine the pain relief AIDS patients can have from get using marijuana, or cancer patients. Imagine the appetite they could have increased. Therefore, malnutrition would not be a factor when you have AIDS or cancer. Patients can live longer because of the increase in appetite. The suffering from excruciating pain will be decreased. Just knowing people will endure less pain should be a good enough reason to legalize this for medicinal reasons. So when you leave here today and you return to your regular desk jobs, free of pain, think about the person that is not eating and in pain currently in hospitals on various medicines that are not working as effective as marijuana could work, or THC, as we know the common name, that THC is the chemical that produces pain and increases appetite. Are you willing to sleep tonight knowing that you could help someone in pain or even increase their appetite? When last did you hear someone overdosed on marijuana, overdosed on THC? This has never happened. Make that decision. Relieve these people pain. Help that terminally ill patient. Be the one who can legalize marijuana. Help those people in the hospital right now. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your night and safe travel home.